When you put salt in your home, it's not just about a grain sitting on the counter. It's about the meaning you attach to it. Salt has always been more than seasoning. It's preservation, it's purification, it's covenant. For generations, people believed salt had the power to drive away what didn't belong, to protect what needed to stay, and to remind you that even the smallest things hold incredible strength. Think about it. A handful of salt can change the taste of an entire pot of food. A pinch can take something dull and bring it to life. If something that's small can shift everything around it, then what can the smallest changes in your life do? What can the smallest acts of faith do in your home? There's a reason salt is spoken about in so many ways. It's simple, but it carries weight. You walk into your kitchen, you see salt, and you don't think twice about it. But if you shift your perspective, you'll realize that you've been holding on to something symbolic every single day. The same salt that seasons your meal can season your atmosphere. The same salt that preserves your food can preserve your peace. You may not even notice it, but sometimes God moves in the ordinary things, the things you overlook. That's where transformation begins. Not always in the grand, but in the simple, in the subtle, in the things right in front of you. Let me break it down. Life has a way of distracting you, pulling you in directions where you forget your strength, where you forget your purpose, where your home becomes just four walls instead of a sanctuary. But when you bring intention, when you use something as small as salt to create a boundary, to declare, this is my space, this is my family, this is my peace, you remind yourself and everything around you that what's within those walls is covered. Covered not just by your effort, but by something bigger than you. Salt becomes a physical reminder that your home is not just a place you stay, but a place where God dwells. And isn't it true that we need those reminders? Because we forget who we are. We forget what we carry. We forget that even in silence, God is still moving. Salt on the doorstep may look like nothing to the world, but to you, it can represent a line in the sand. A line that says, no chaos can come past this point. No bitterness can take root in this soil. No weapon formed against me will prosper in this house. That's what salt is about. It's not superstition, it's declaration. It's a visible action of an invisible faith. Think about the people you love, the ones you live with, the ones who step foot into your home. Don't they deserve that covering? Don't they deserve that sense of peace when they walk through your doors? And don't you deserve to live in an environment that strengthens you instead of draining you? That's what salt represents. That's why it's powerful, because it's not just sitting there. It's working on levels you may never fully see, but will always feel. But let me tell you this. Salt on its own can't change your life if you don't believe, if you don't put intention behind it. Faith without action is just words, but action with faith, that's a force nothing can stand against. Salt is the action, your belief is the fire, and God is the movement. Put them together and you will see things shift. You will see doors open, you will see peace where there was conflict. You will see strength where there was weakness. Not because salt is magic, but because your faith activated it. Because you dared to say, this little thing matters, this small act matters, my home matters. And maybe that's what somebody here needs to hear tonight. That your home matters, that your peace matters, that the atmosphere you live in matters. Stop letting negativity come in and out as it pleases. Stop letting your space be invaded by fear, by anger, by doubt. Use what you have, as small as it is, and claim your ground. If a pinch of salt can season a whole pot, then a little bit of faith can transform an entire house. So when you place salt in your home, do it with intention. Do it with boldness. Do it as a reminder that God is present, that protection is present, that peace is present. Don't just see it as grains on a counter. See it as a declaration that no matter what comes against you, your foundation will stand. And I want you to feel that right now, not tomorrow, not next week. right now. Because God moves when you believe He can move, even through the smallest of things. Now let me ask you this. How many of you are ready to declare over your homes tonight? How many of you are ready to make a stand, even with something as small as salt, and believe that God will move on your behalf? Salt by the doorway carries a message that goes deeper than anyone passing by could ever see. It's not just about sprinkling something on the ground. It's about drawing a line that says, "This is where my peace begins." A doorway is more than an entrance. It's a threshold. It's the line between what's outside and what's inside, what belongs and what doesn't. Every person, every energy, every word spoken, every thought carried into your home has to pass through that space. And if you don't guard it, then anything can walk right in. That's why placing salt at the doorway has power. It reminds you that your home is not open ground for chaos, but a sanctuary where only peace, love, and God's presence are allowed to dwell. Think about it this way. In life, we guard what we value. You lock your car because you don't want it stolen. You put a password on your phone because you don't want your privacy invaded. You close your doors at night because you want to keep your family safe. So why wouldn't you guard the spirit of your home with the same urgency? The truth is, many of us don't realize how much comes through our doors. People walk in with burdens, with negativity, with words that sting, with spirits heavy from the battles they've been fighting. If you're not intentional, all that weight can seep into your space. Salt by the door is your way of declaring that only what is meant for your peace can cross that line. And let's be real. Sometimes it's not just other people bringing things into your home. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you come home carrying frustration from work, anger from an argument, or doubt from a setback. You walk through that door, and without even realizing it, you release that energy into the place that should be your refuge. But when you see that salt at your doorway, it becomes a reminder to leave all that weight outside. It tells you, don't bring that heaviness in here. This is a place of rest. This is a place of renewal. This is a place where God restores you. You need those reminders because life has a way of piling things on your shoulders. That salt is not just protecting your house from the outside. It's protecting you from yourself. Now, some might say it's just salt. What can that really do? And they're right if all you see is a grain of seasoning. But if you understand symbolism, if you understand intention, you realize that every act of faith carries power. Salt at the doorway isn't superstition, it's declaration. It's you saying with boldness, this home is covered. No spirit of fear can enter here. No storm of doubt can cross this line. No bitterness or confusion can find a home in this space. You are speaking life over your threshold, and when you do that, it changes the way you see your space and the way others feel it when they enter. Think about visitors who walk into your home. They may not see the salt, they may not understand what you've done, but they'll feel something. They'll feel peace they can't explain. They'll feel a calmness they didn't have before they walked in. They'll feel love filling the air in ways that words can't capture. That's what happens when you put intention at your doorway. Your home becomes more than a place, it becomes a refuge, and people can sense it, even if they don't know why. You don't need wealth, you don't need status, you don't need anything extravagant to make your home sacred. Sometimes it's the smallest acts, the simplest gestures that carry the most power. Salt by the door is a symbol that your house is not just brick and wood. It's a living space where God moves. And when you treat it that way, when you protect it that way, you start to feel the difference. You rest better, you love deeper, you speak kinder, you grow stronger, and here's the beauty of it. It's not about the salt itself, it's about what you believe when you place it there. Faith transforms the ordinary into extraordinary. Faith turns a simple act into a shield. Faith takes a small grain and makes it a fortress. So when you step through that doorway, remind yourself of this truth. You're not just walking into a house. You're walking into a sanctuary where peace reigns, where love grows, where God dwells. And now, let me ask you, how many of you are ready to guard your threshold? How many of you are ready to declare that nothing unworthy of your peace will ever cross that door again? Salt in the corners of your home carries a quiet power that most people overlook. Corners often collect what is hidden, what is pushed aside, what is forgotten. Dust gathers there, shadows rest there, and in the same way, the unseen weight of life can settle there too. That's why placing salt in those corners has meaning. It speaks to the places in your life that no one else sees. The hidden hurts, the silent struggles, the unspoken fears. Corners represent the things that get overlooked, and by putting salt there, you're declaring that even what hides in the shadows will not escape the light of God's presence. Sometimes the strongest battles aren't the ones you face out in the open, but the ones that happen in the hidden places. Those quiet moments late at night when nobody knows the heaviness you're carrying. Those silent corners of your heart where you've tucked away disappointment, regret, or shame. It's easy to put on a smile in public, to carry yourself with strength, but then you go home, and in the corners of your spirit, you're battling storms no one can see. Salt in the corners is more than an act. It's a reminder that God is not just in the open spaces, He's in the hidden ones too. He moves where no one else can. He heals what no one else knows. He restores what no one else sees. Placing salt in the corners is like saying, even here God reigns. Even in the forgotten places there is protection. Even in the shadows there is light. Because the truth is, what you ignore doesn't just disappear, it lingers. The same way dust builds up in a corner, pain builds up in the places you don't confront. Salt becomes your declaration that nothing will be left unattended, that nothing in your life will remain untouched by God's presence. You're saying, I refuse to let darkness have even the smallest corner of my home or of my heart. And isn't that what we all need? To know that even the areas we're afraid to bring into the open are still covered. You may have mistakes you don't talk about, doubts you don't share, questions you keep locked inside. But salt in the corners reminds you that God already sees, and not only does He see, He cares. He cares enough to meet you in the quiet, in the hidden, in the overlooked. He cares enough to clean out the dust, to chase out the shadows, to bring peace even to the corners. I want you to think about the symbolism for a moment. When you clean your home, you sweep the floors, you wipe the counters, but often the hardest part is reaching into the corner. They're tucked away, harder to get to, but you know if you ignore them, the dust will keep piling up. The same is true in your spirit. It's not enough to take care of what people can see. You've got to reach into the corners of your life, into the places you don't always want to deal with. And salt placed there is your way of saying, I'm not leaving this area unprotected. I'm not leaving this place untouched. The most powerful transformation doesn't just happen where everyone is watching. It happens in the unseen. When you decide that every corner of your home, every corner of your life, will be filled with peace and not with chaos, with light and not with shadows, you start to live differently. You stand taller. You breathe deeper. You walk with clarity because you know you're not carrying hidden weight anymore. Salt in the corners becomes more than a symbol. It becomes a statement that your whole house, your whole spirit is covered, not just the parts that are easy to see. And it's true, you may have been living with things hidden in the corners for years. Maybe you've ignored them. Maybe you've been afraid to face them. But let this be your reminder. You don't have to keep living that way. You can confront it, you can claim it, you can cover it. Salt is simple, but its message is strong. Nothing in your life is too hidden, too broken, too small for God to move through. So when you place salt in the corners of your home, let it remind you that no shadow has power here. No hidden burden will stay here. No quiet storm will control you here. Every corner is filled with light, with peace, with strength. That's the power of this act. That's the declaration you make when you take something small and use it to speak over every space of your life. Now let me ask you, how many of you are ready to stop ignoring the corners and start declaring that every hidden place in your home and in your spirit will be filled with peace? Salt on the windowsills is more than just a simple act. It's a declaration that what comes into your home will not rob you of your peace. Windows represent vision. They are the places where light enters, where you see the world outside, where the outside has a way of reaching in. And just like windows let in sunshine, they can also let in storms. Salt on the windowsills is your way of saying, I decide what enters here. I choose light, I choose peace, I choose blessings over chaos. It's not just protection from what you can see. It's also guarding against what you cannot see. Because let's be honest, not everything that comes knocking at your windows is meant for you. Not every word spoken over you, not every opinion thrown your way, not every influence passing by is supposed to take root in your life. Some things look harmless but carry weight. Some things seem small but can shift your atmosphere. Salt on the windows is a way of placing a boundary, a spiritual reminder that only what builds, only what strengthens, only what uplifts can cross into your space. You're declaring that what flows in through those windows will not break you, it will bless you. Think about the symbolism for a moment. Light streams in through a window, and with it comes warmth, vision, and clarity. But without protection, a window can also let in dust, insects, rain, or even the eyes of those who mean no good. Life is the same way. If you don't guard your vision, you'll let anything enter. You'll let the wrong voices influence you, the wrong examples shape you, the wrong ideas take hold of you. Salt on the windowsills is a way of saying, I will not let my vision be clouded. I will not let negativity steal the light that shines into this place. It's important to understand how easily your peace can be disturbed if you're not intentional. Maybe it's a conversation you overheard that planted doubt in your heart. Maybe it's an image you saw that left you unsettled. Maybe it's a comment spoken against you that found its way into your spirit. These things sneak in like dust through an open window. You don't see them right away, but over time they settle and weigh you down. Salt becomes your reminder that you will not allow those things to linger. It's your way of declaring, what enters this house must pass through peace, must pass through protection, must pass through purpose. And don't miss this. Windows don't only let things in, they also allow you to look out. Salt on the windowsills is a statement about how you choose to see the world. You can look out and see fear, or you can look out and see opportunity. You can look out and see limitation, or you can look out and see possibility. Guarding your windows is about guarding your perspective, because what you focus on determines how you move. If your vision is clouded, your steps will falter. But if your vision is clear, your path becomes stronger. Salt placed on those windows says, I refuse to see the world through fear, through envy, through doubt. I choose to see it through faith, through hope, through peace. Imagine walking into your home after a long day, and the first thing you notice is sunlight pouring through a window, touching the salt you placed there. It's a reminder that God's presence shines into even the simplest things. That no matter how heavy the world feels, His light still finds its way in. That no matter what tries to creep in, your house is covered, your vision is clear, your atmosphere is set. That's the kind of peace that changes how you live, how you rest, how you believe. So don't underestimate the power of this small act. Salt on your windowsills may look ordinary to someone else, but to you it is sacred. It is a barrier against what drains, and an invitation for what restores. It is a shield against darkness and a channel for light. It is your way of saying, this home is covered, this vision is guarded, this peace is protected. Now let me ask you, how many of you are ready to place salt on the windows of your life, and declare that only light, only peace, and only God's presence will ever flow in? Salt in the center of your home holds a weight that many people don't recognize, because the center is the heart of everything. The center is where life flows, where conversations echo, where laughter rises, where silence lingers. It's where the spirit of the home rests, and what fills the center has a way of spreading into every other room. That's why when you place salt in the middle of your home, you're not just sprinkling a few grains on the floor. You're making a statement. You're saying this house has a heart, and that heart is protected. That heart is pure. That heart beats with peace, with faith, and with purpose. Every home has a rhythm, an energy that you can feel the moment you step inside. Have you ever walked into a place that looked beautiful on the outside, but felt heavy on the inside? You couldn't explain it, but something about the atmosphere told you it wasn't right. That's because the center wasn't guarded. The heart of that house wasn't cared for. Just like the human body, if the heart is sick, the whole body is affected. If the center of the home is unprotected, the whole house feels it. Salt in the center is a symbol that you refuse to allow heaviness, bitterness, or confusion to take over the heartbeat of your space. Think about what happens at the center of a family. That's where decisions are made, where meals are shared, where prayers are spoken, where love is built. But it's also where conflict can erupt, where silence can settle, where division can creep in. Life has a way of trying to disrupt the heart of the home, and if you're not intentional, negativity can set the rhythm. Salt in the center is a way of declaring, not here, not in this place. This heart will not beat to the sound of fear or anger. This heart will beat with joy, with love, with faith. And maybe that's exactly what somebody here needs to remember. That the battles you're fighting aren't just happening in the world outside. They're happening inside your own walls. They're happening at the table where you sit with your family, in the living room where you try to find rest, in the kitchen where you prepare food. The enemy doesn't always attack at the edges. Sometimes he goes straight for the center, because if he can disrupt the heart, he can disrupt everything. That's why you can't leave it unguarded. That's why salt in the center is not superstition. It's strategy. It's faith in action, and let's go even deeper. The center of your home is more than a physical space. It's also the spirit you carry. You are the one who sets the tone. You are the one who decides whether the atmosphere will be filled with peace or with conflict. When you place salt at the center, you're not just protecting a house. You're protecting yourself, your energy, your spirit. You're saying, my heart will not be a home for chaos. My spirit will not be filled with bitterness. I will carry peace, and I will let that peace flow into every room, every corner, every window of this home. And don't underestimate what that does. When the heart is strong, everything connected to it is strong. When the center is filled with light, the shadows can't take over. When the rhythm of the home is set by peace, it changes how you live, how you speak, how you treat the people around you. It changes the way your children grow, the way your relationships thrive, the way your dreams take shape. Salt in the center is a reminder that when you guard the heart, you guard the whole. You may not see the shift immediately, but you will feel it. Slowly, arguments will soften, anxieties will quiet, love will grow louder, and peace will stretch into spaces where it was missing. Because the heart has been covered, the rhythm has been reset, the center has been claimed. So when you walk into the middle of your home, don't just see a space, see a heart. And when you place that salt there, let it remind you that the heartbeat of your house and the heartbeat of your spirit is guarded. That no matter what storms rage outside, the center will stand strong. Now let me ask you, how many of you are ready to protect the heart of your home, to claim the center as sacred, and to let that peace flow into every room of your life?